Good evening and welcome to a Rebels Radio interview. I'm joined this evening by Neil Baker. How are you, Neil?
Very well, John.
Good, we've got plenty to catch up on, so let's start with Saturday. Had a bit of time to reflect on it. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, you know, you've got to say it's a great start. 3 points, clean sheet away from home in a local derby. So we were, delighted with it. I think if you'd offered us 3 points from that game, we'd have bitten your hands off. So yeah, there wasn't an awful lot we had to really think about in terms of the game. It was just a professional performance. I thought I didn't think we were at our best, but we did the right things at the right times and we defended well as a team and I felt we deserved the 3 points. I'm sure I know we'll play better and we already have, but it's all about the points.
Let's break it down from the start. Formation 4-5-1 and the team that started. Any comments?
No, I think the team pretty much picked itself. Obviously we've had a number of people away, and if I'm honest, that's pretty much been the side that we've sort of been trying to play in the last sort of couple of pre-season games. The 4-5-1 just suited the personnel, if I'm honest. Scott Harris wasn't expected to be fit. We'd only just signed Darryl. He'd only trained twice during the week. Adam Cornell wasn't really fit 100%. So the 4-5-1 formation suited what we had, and we just felt that actually it might be there. In the past when we'd played Beaconsfield, which obviously a vast majority of the players were ex-Beaconsfield, we got caught a little bit with them playing 4-3-3 and a man in the hole, and we just felt by playing the 4-5-1 that would stop them from doing that, and it did in fact, and they ended up changing their formation to a 4-4-2 sort of through the first half, and it enabled us to change our formation second half, which we always planned to do anyway, but we were able to do it maybe that little bit earlier.
Yeah, it was quite a tense, tight first half, a bit of a local derby, a few feisty challenges going in. What did you say at half time?
Not an awful lot. I mean, we'd said we needed to pass the ball better. The pitch was very difficult to play on. It was, the grass was very long. We just said go in, just try and relax a little bit on the ball and play, because when we had played in the first half, we'd looked a good side. We probably hadn't done it quite as often as we'd hoped. But it was first game of the season. People are getting minutes still into their game, into their legs, and it does take a while sometimes for people to hit full throttle. And I just felt that whilst we hadn't played great, we just said, look, just keep trying to do the right things, and you'll get chances, and obviously we did second half.
Yeah, and made a substitution, changed the formation to 4-4-2, and almost instantaneously Johnny Dyer got on the end of a decent through ball from George Short and scored a great goal.
Yeah, it was a great ball from George. I don't think he's got any too much credit for that ball, to be honest. It was a great ball. And in reality, that ball was probably for a Darryl to latch on to. I don't think the substitution created the goal. However, by having two up front, it just occupied their defenders a little bit more, and Johnny just found that little bit of space, and Johnny did what Johnny does. He put it in the back of the net. He's a great player, Johnny.
And who else had strong performances? Obviously, singling out a decent pass by George and JD finishing them well there.
Yeah, funny enough, obviously, I read the forum quite a bit, well, every day, and there was.
In fact, you're reading it now.
No, yeah, there's a number of people that have given varying man of the match performances. There was probably 7 or 8 players mentioned, and I'd go along with that. I thought there was a number of players that put in good performances, not unbelievable performances, but really good performances. You look at Tom Moran. It was only really his 3rd game with us, and I thought he was excellent. Come in and done really well. It was a little bit of a gamble from us by playing him, because he'd been away quite a bit over the last sort of 3 weeks on various holidays, but we felt that we'd seen enough in training and a couple of games that he had played in that we felt that he could probably do a job, and you know, exceeded expectations, to be honest.
And it all good result, and then moved on to Hereford the other night, and that another tough test, and going back to a place where you'd played.
Yeah. I mean, Hereford's you know, it's a proper football club. Obviously, they're going through the mill at the moment with all the, you know, power struggle, and you know who's in charge, and you know, are they going to complete the season? Are they going to continue as a club? It was very strange, you know, very different to when I was there, and you know, they were top of the conference, but all the same, it was a great night for our players to turn up and play in a stadium like that. You know, let's make no bones about it. We weren't too sure what to expect from Hereford, because we knew they were going to be quite young. We'd had a relatively decent report on them on Saturday, and I'd go as far as to say that, you know, we were impressed with them. You know, they're full time, they work really hard, they're quick. You know, they maybe need that little bit of experience, but I think they're a very good side, and I think they'll get better. You know, obviously if they're allowed to get better in terms of if the club continues. But you know, from our point of view, for the lads, it was brilliant experience, and you know, I thought we played really well, and obviously, you know, to sort of lose 2 points in the last seconds, it was you know, quite hard to take, but you know, there was so much to come from the game.
Yeah, again, team selections and actually getting up there must have been there for you know, for these guys who on the Slough side are working a full-time job and working perhaps a whole day, and then having to travel up all the way to Hereford, a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you know, the fans will know that as well. We had great numbers from the fans, and you have to take your hats off to them as well for doing it. But obviously the lads have to also go and play 90 minutes of football and run around, and you know, I mean, you know, you look at Jamie McClurg as a perfect example. You know, he probably started, I think he started work about 6 o'clock in the morning. You know, got to Bracknell for 4:15, straight from work. You know, got in the car, got to Hereford 6:45. Ended up playing 90 minutes, was absolutely fantastic. Got home probably, I think it was about 12:30, and would have been in work at 6 o'clock this morning. You know, and that is just, you know, top drawer, and that, you know, that sort of goes to show, you know, what some of these lads do have to put in, and you know, and it was a fantastic for those boys, really, you know, to do what they did last night.
Considering the position Hereford are in, what did you make of the kind of the pitch and how they set up and all the facilities there?
I mean, the pitch, you know, obviously I played there. You know, it was absolutely fantastic. I mean, it was still good last night. It wasn't amazing, but it was good. You know, obviously the setup's great. But listen, we were really impressed with them. They're a young, honest side who will get better and better. But I just felt that we deserved to win the game, you know, not necessarily on the first half performance. I felt first half they kept the ball miles better than us and created a number of problems without really testing us or Jake, you know, too many times. You know, whereas we, even though we hadn't played great in the first half, we'd still had a number of good chances. However, you know, at half time we talked to the lads about not pressing in certain situations and sort of holding our shape, but also just being a little bit braver on the ball to keep hold of the ball. And I have to say they carried out our instructions, you know, word for word second half, because I thought they were absolutely superb. You know, their work rate, the way they kept the ball, some of the passing, some of the play, the way we defended. You know, as a manager, it was so pleasing to see, and I went in there and gave them massive plaudits because they were so down after conceding that last minute goal. I went in there and just bigged them up because I thought they were absolutely brilliant. It
was a great occasion. I mean, and a magnificent atmosphere. There was a good number of Hereford fans there, and the Slough fans as you've travelled. I mean, what can you say about them?
Oh, it was brilliant. You know, like as I said, you know, it's hard enough for players to do it, but they've obviously got to play the game. But these guys, you know, and women and kids, and you know, they all turned up, all in their shirts, all congregated together, you know, singing pretty much throughout the game, and it does spur players on. You know, it gives them a massive lift. You know, when you're coming out and they're, you know, they're saluting you and, you know, and chanting your names and whatever. It's great. You know, it's fantastic, and it does give them, you know, an extra 10% at times. And I think sometimes the fans possibly don't even realise how much that actually can affect players and how much it can give them that little bit extra, you know. And you know, obviously it's a lot easier when there's a nice stadium for the sound to sort of echo and whatever else. But no, they were brilliant, absolutely top drawer, and that's why we went over to them, gave them a big round of applause, and obviously they did the same for us as well.
I know you say you were a little bit disappointed to take a point at the end of the game, being in the position that you were in.
Yeah.
But I take it no blame attached to George Short there. He'd done exactly what you'd always do in that situation.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I thought George. I think George has been excellent the first two games.
For those of people who weren't there, George gave away a kind of slightly cynical professional foul to break up and cut away a potentially dangerous situation, and then the goal resulted from the free kick.
I mean, the lad had got past George, and they would have probably been 4-on-4, and they were attacking us at pace, and George done what I would have done. I think any professional player would have done. He just took the foul, took a yellow card, and it allowed us to regroup and get men behind the ball to try and obviously clear the free kick. Unfortunately, it didn't work out like that. The header from Reece hadn't gone out the box whereby the referee would have blown the whistle. In fact, it's dropped to their lad, and he's put it, he's finished it well and put it in the back of the net. So absolutely, we sat on the bench, and as soon as George did it, we were like, brilliant, well done. Every single player on and everyone on the bench just said, fantastic. So no, absolutely, it's nothing you can do. So I mean, as I say, like at half time we would have taken a draw. Me and Unders actually said half time would have taken a draw because we felt that Hereford were on top, but the way we played second half, I just felt we deserved to win the game.
And so how do you pick up that dressing room now ahead of the game at home? First home game of the season on Saturday against Banbury.
Yeah, no, I don't think they need any picking up, to be honest. I think that they've got massive confidence from the first two games, and I think that they realise that yes, they can compete at this level and give it a real good go.
Overall, are you happy with 4 points out of 6? First two games, 2 away games, 2 tough games.
I think if you'd said 4 points from 6, 4 weeks ago, when we knew that we'd have Eddie missing, when we knew Sean Fraser would be missing, when you got Adam Fowler missing, you add Warren Harris into it, we knew Luke Knight was suspended first game of the season, obviously he's then gone and got an injury, that's 5 very, very good players, and for us to have 4 points without those 5 players is testament to what we've got in and around the squad, and me and John actually said we'll get stronger as the season goes on, and we firmly believe that. So to have 4 points from 2 games, we're really pleased. But we know it's only, it doesn't mean an awful lot. It's about getting long runs of wins together and trying to be unbeaten for as long as you can. And we know it's going to be very difficult.
So talking of the squad, what news have you got? Who's in the squad for Saturday?
Well, at the moment we're still undecided. This will be our first sort of decisions because we're probably going to have sort of 18 or so available. It's FA Cup weekend. We've made a decision to let Seb play in the FA Cup for Badshot Lee this year because obviously it's going to be an early round. Seb at the moment is out on loan with Badshot Lee to get more experience in men's football, and we just feel it's probably right for him because with what we've got at the moment, he's not going to play in the FA Cup for us at the moment. So other than that, we won't let anyone else go out on loan at the weekend.
Any injuries?
No, 90's going to be a couple of weeks. He went to see somebody on Tuesday, and reckons probably a couple of weeks from then. So we'll look forward to having him back in the squad. But no, other than that, we'll welcome Eddie back. Eddie's playing 90 minutes tonight, Wednesday, for Guildford City. So he's playing a 90 tonight to get some minutes under his belt. Adam Cornell played on Tuesday night. We've got Ben Edwards available. Sean Fraser will be available. So all of a sudden we've got a nice position of a good squad to pick from, and we'll work out what we're going to do with that.
And from that position, you're almost in a difficult position because you can only choose a certain number to have.
Yeah.
If you want to explain that for the fans.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, in most weeks we would normally, if we've got 18 or so, we would look to have 16, in and around the squad, and we'd look to get 2 games. But because of it being FA Cup weekend and we're not prepared to, cup tie a lot of people, it's one of those ones where we'll end up having 2 or 3 sort of standing watching Saturday. But most weeks it will be, it'll be the 16, or even like last night we decided to go with 14 to Hereford because we felt well, actually, you only need 14 players, and we felt it would benefit Adam Cornell to get 90 minutes last night. Ben obviously couldn't get out of work in time. He works as he runs a golf course, and he's sort of in a load of remedial work at the moment where he just couldn't get out. So sometimes we'll go with 14, sometimes we'll go with 15, sometimes we'll go with 16. We've got to just try and make sure that the players are getting enough minutes, whether that's for us or whether that's for other teams. But that's down to us to try and manage as much as we can.
Looking ahead to Banbury, they obviously haven't started quite so brightly. What are you expecting from them?
They're a little bit unknown. They obviously didn't have a great season last year. But I know I watched an interview with their manager the other day, and he's talked about sort of pretty much putting a new side together. I know one or two lads. I mean, they've got Theo Walcott's brother, who used to be at North Lee and who we've come up against before, who's a good player. Leon Simpson, who a lot of our fans will remember from Leighton, I think he's about 6'7", 6'8". He can be a handful. So we know that they're going to work hard. They're going to do all they can to upset our rhythm, and they'll look to come to get a result. So we will treat it in no other way. We went and watched Redditch versus Chippenham on Monday night, and myself and John, and one thing we noticed was how hard both teams worked. Throughout the 90 minutes, nobody gave anything up. And we know that that's what it's going to be every week. So for us, it's no different than whether it's Hereford, Burnham, Chesham, St Neots, Truro. We've got to go in with 110% effort, work rate, and then hope that our quality can come through, and that we've got people that put the ball in the back of the net.
So looking forward to getting back to Holloway's in front of a home crowd? Yeah,
hopefully we'll have a good crowd. It'd be really nice to get as many people out in force,
and be as vocal as at
Hereford. Absolutely, yeah. The more vocal they can be, the better. I mean, it does, as I said, it makes a big difference. So now looking forward to it. We've heard some good reports on the pitch from a few people recently. So we're hoping the pitch will be in a good state, and yeah, we'll look to start our home campaign on Saturday.
Brilliant. We'll look forward to going along and watching that. Hope as many of you as possible can come and join us. But thank you very much for your time, Bakes, and we'll catch up soon.
Lovely. Cheers, John.